So again, my name's Emily Kaminsky. I'm the chair of the board of Granite City Cooperative, otherwise known as Granite City Grocery. And I've been part of this organization from basically the beginning, which would be from July of 2012, I guess. And my passion behind being part of Granite City Grocery is that I really feel like without a place to buy healthy, fresh food downtown that's affordable, that we really don't have a healthy, vibrant community, or at least we're missing a piece of the puzzle that would create a healthy, vibrant community. And so that's really a passion of mine. I have 2 young children and a third on the way, and I think anybody who's a parent knows how difficult it is to have the knowledge that there are some people in your community who have to go through extraordinary lengths to get food. And so our goal as a group is to really fill the gap that exists in our community for healthy, fresh food. And we'll get to that in a little bit. So that's my kind of motivation, my passion. I'm a Barre City resident. I have been here for 13 years. And I love Barre. So this is something that I'm really happy to be doing. We're all volunteering to do this. We all put in lots of hours, but it's really very rewarding to meet and develop relationships with people in your community who have a similar passion. So that's a little bit about me. Okay, so on to this very short presentation. So Granite City Grocery, we actually, if you have not seen our mission statement, we have one. We developed this as a board in May after a lot of back and forth about what were our values as a group, what did we really want to accomplish. I will read this in case some of you cannot see it. Granite City Grocery exists to benefit the people who live, shop, and work in Barre. And this is a very positive statement. We are a cooperatively owned center of sustainable commerce, serving as a welcoming and accessible downtown grocery store, offering a broad range of high-quality food products for a fair price with a commitment to outstanding service. And in the mission statement, there are a lot of key words there that kind of embody some of the values that hopefully everybody in this room can kind of resonate with. Some really key ones are, obviously cooperative is one of them. Sustainable. We really want to make sure that if we do this, we're going to do it right and that it sticks around for a long time. Welcoming. We want to make sure that this is an initiative that welcomes people from all backgrounds, that nobody feels like this is just the $200 club, or it's the place that only those people go to, that it will be welcoming in the way that it's put together, the way that it's presented, the way that the shelves are mixed in terms of products. Welcoming is very important. Accessible, also equally important. We feel anybody who shopped in downtown Barre at the Grand Union would remember folks walking there from the senior housing, from other places downtown, and we need to have a place that is accessible for a variety of reasons. People with disabilities or different abilities. Accessibility from a parking perspective for those of us who live elsewhere and need to drive and actually get in and out of a place. So that was a big piece. Downtown, folks have asked about site. I cannot give you any specific information, but you should know for sure that we are committed to downtown. And if anybody says, no, they're not committed, well, it's in our mission statement. So hold us accountable. We really want to be sure that this is going to be a downtown enterprise. That's been our commitment from the very beginning, so that's why that's in the mission statement. Broad range of high-quality food products. We recognize that Barre is a very diverse community, economically, socially, culturally, all the above. It's an incredibly diverse place. We can't be everything to everybody, but we do want to have a broad enough range that most people feel like they can go there and get most of their grocery shopping done, or at least a good part of it. High quality was really important, and this high quality needs to be balanced with fair price. And we've gone back and forth between the words we use, affordable or reasonable, but we're really committed to being able to provide a fair price to the people that we purchase from, and also to sell at a fair price to the folks that are purchasing the products. And that's not always an easy balance to do, and I've never been part of a grocery store, and I don't presume to know exactly how that works. That's why at some point we will hire a general manager who knows. But other food co-ops have accomplished this kind of a mission statement by having various purchasing policies in place, also programs that allow for folks with lower incomes to be able to purchase basic necessities at a lower price. There's a lot of ways that we can fashion this so that everybody can get access to something that's high quality and something that works for them. And finally, a commitment to outstanding service. We just feel like that has to be in there because if there is no outstanding service, what do you have? And that's really how we will, this is an enterprise, it is a nonprofit enterprise, but we will really need to compete with other places to get food. And outstanding service is going to be one of those areas where we will certainly be putting a lot of energy and effort to make sure that we're delivering the best product possible. Okay, so the background is, most of you know we haven't had grain union since 2001. Of course, there are other places to get food in Barre, outside of Barre, downtown Barre. There are some places to get food. The big thing here is full-service grocery store. So when grain union left, there was a big hole in terms of where you could get fresh food and a wide variety of good quality food in downtown Barre. We began in July 2012. In order to really get this thing moving, we worked quickly to get a grant in order to basically get the funds that we needed in order to do a market analysis and really assess whether something like this is feasible. And when we did that, that grant actually was a matching grant. So we did a Kickstarter style or crowdfunding style fundraising event where we got $13,000 in community donations, which many of you probably in this room participated in, so thank you for that. That $23,000 plus another $1,000 from the Hunger Mountain Co-op and other donations that have come in, those funds we're currently still working. We're using those right now. We've used it to purchase consulting services from a market analysis consultant. We've used it to hire Ben. We've used it to hire a consultant who does pro forma financial statements so that we can start looking at financial feasibility for the co-op. And we've used it for basic organizational requirements such as legal advice, insurance. So we have all the things that we need in place, and we're still actually using this money. So any of the owners in the room who are wondering if we've used your money yet, we have not. We're hoping to save that for the actual store. That's something that we keep in mind as a board about making sure that we're using the funds appropriately. So as many of you know, we had this pledge event, or a long pledge event, that went through basically October of last year through April of this year, and we got to 650 pledges. We're now at 400 plus owners as of today. And the 200 some pledges who have not become owners yet, we welcome you to become owners whenever. Some people will not become owners now for their own reasons, and that's totally fine. A lot of people who never pledged became owners. So the big story here is basically we have an ever-expanding network of people, and so each one of you has a network of 25 to 50 friends and family members who can help us get from that 400 to 800. So that's one thing that if you don't leave here with anything else, please leave here thinking about the fact that you have an amazing network of people that you can really encourage to be part of this growing group. And sometimes it seems so simple. If I could just get one person extra to help or to become an owner, we'd be there. It's not that simple, as we found out. So why a co-op for Barre? A lot of people in the beginning, when we first started out as Granite City Co-op, said we don't need a co-op, we need a grocery store. And so a lot of the story that we've been trying to tell has been that co-op is a business model, and it's not necessarily what's on the shelves. A co-op is made of owners who come together for their own purpose. And so this kind of thought of, well, if not us, who else? Because obviously since 2001, nobody has come in on a white horse to open up a grocery store downtown. It's not easy. And we're finding out as well, looking at financial pro formas, that it's really hard to try to figure out the economics of an independent grocery store in downtown Barre specifically. So, but a co-op makes it possible, and Ben will hopefully touch on that in his presentation. So as a business model, it allows us to accomplish a very big goal together. It also allows us to have some resiliency. It's an economic model that, if the owners patronize the store does well. It spreads risk across a wide number of people. It's not just one person investing several $1 million potentially in a business. So co-op as a business model makes sense. And it gives greater assurance that our community's needs for food will be met in the long term. And we believe that because it's really difficult to shut down a co-op. Once it's open, you have to get the members to say we don't want it anymore. And I believe, and maybe Ben can speak to the statistics, that the success rate for co-ops is greater than the success rate for conventionally organized corporations. Or rather, the failure rate is less than conventionally organized corporations. So what have we been doing? We've been doing a lot of one-on-one outreach to people, working our own networks. So the folks who began organizing this back in the summertime, we just kind of slowly went through our own networks and then built from there. We've done house parties, which we now call eat and greets. It's basically owners invite friends over, and then one of us from the board comes and talks about what we're doing, and hopefully folks leave with a better sense of where we're at and maybe consider becoming an owner. Lots of outreach events, mailings. We have a good presence on Facebook. We have a very good website that allows us to do a lot of social networking. Last year we did listening sessions, which was a series of basically focus groups. We brought some food to the First Presbyterian Church and invited people to come and basically ask questions, and that was very helpful. And we've done potlucks and mixers and other events. And so co-ops, one of the first things I learned about a co-op is that it's only as strong as the relationships upon which it is founded. And so when a couple of people have said to me, gosh, it seems like all you guys do is meet and do these events where people gather in hot rooms like this one. Are you getting anything done? And yes, while we're doing this, there's also a lot of activity happening that you don't see that is building the co-op, but this is forming relationships, and trust is really a big part of growing the ownership base. Without that, we won't be able to get where we need to be. This is just some fun pictures. Dr. Yora held a house party at his office, which is very helpful. And Jan, where's Jan? There's a picture from your house.
I know, it's like, that's my house!
That's your house. And there's Fred and a couple other people I recommend. So it takes a lot of things. It's basically a puzzle piece of putting different events together, people together, making the pitch, answering questions, and hopefully moving us all together at the same time. This diagram in the top left, Ben will talk a little bit more about, but it's basically, it's how you get a co-op organized. And we're learning about what this means, but you have to have, there are certain stages of organizing, and there are certain foundational elements that you have to have in order to move forward. And that's a really great thing about having a consultant who can help you kind of wade through, well, how do you actually get this done? And then our owner agreement is up there. So it takes a lot of different things to get this done. We have found through the last year that without strong relationships, honesty, trust, integrity, communication, partnerships all over the place, that without those things, I think we wouldn't be able to be where we're at so far. And again, hopefully Ben will speak to this. We're actually making quite good progress when compared to other food co-ops that start up. A lot of people are asking, well, when are you going to open already? Come on. But we're actually doing everything kind of according to plan, and having these kind of, working on this stuff and making sure that we hold these values is a really big piece of being able to move forward. Yeah, so there's some pictures from events that we've had. social gatherings, our Eat Local Cookout, doing a seed swap, our t-shirt contest, all of those things have been helpful in terms of raising awareness about what we're doing. I do want to mention that when we first started, we went around to a couple of different places, including the Barre Tech Center, and I personally spoke to some sophomores there and facilitated a conversation about what is a co-op. And as soon as I said, we're interested in starting a co-op, what does that mean to you? We created a list, and the list was basically exclusive, expensive, hippie, tofu, yucky, stuff like that. Yeah. And the teachers, too, also felt the same way. They felt like, that I don't think this is good for us. So what we did is we said, okay, this is one list of what you think a co-op is. Let's talk about what it takes to cooperate. What does it take to cooperate with your parents? And of course, they came up with a great list. All those things before: trust, patience. There was a litany of things that they came up with. And so we got the conversation away from this yucky, hippie thing that they were thinking of to people cooperating to put food in their downtown. And so then we went back to the first list and we erased all the stuff that they didn't like, which is basically everything. And then said, what would you want in your grocery store? We still had co-op up top. But then they put all their favorite foods down. And so they ended up creating for themselves a new concept of co-op. And I think that's something that all of us, as you're talking to folks in the community, when they ask that question about co-op, oh, that's not for Barre, just say, no, it's Barre-style co-op. It's what's on the shelves will be determined by us. So that's just something I wanted to mention. That was a really big learning, I think, for all of us. So what's next? There's my family. This is why I want everybody else to do this, because I'm tired I'm not tired of it, but my poor children. They're like, we have to do this again, Mommy. Anyway, so we're at 400, but we really want to get to between 600 to 800, because that's kind of the number where we feel like we can move forward a bit more on site selection. You have to have a certain amount of money and people behind you before you can go shopping for a site or even negotiate or think about it. We are thinking about it, but actually go out and start talking to people. It's like trying to buy your first house with $10,000 in your pocket. It doesn't, or $5 or whatever. You have to have enough in order for it to really work. So that's number one, is getting enough owners. We will be doing a board election and annual meeting, hopefully within the next, who knows, by the end of the calendar year is our hope. Ongoing site analysis, that's been a long process for us, where we have identified a long list of sites and then narrowed it down and then had those analyzed by a market analysis analyst. The financial and design feasibility, we're taking basically the market analyst numbers and putting them through a financial pro forma so we can start looking at what a store at site whatever, how it would cash flow and how much debt and how much owner equity we need to make it work. It's a really amazing thing, and we have a fantastic consultant who's helping us with that. Ultimately, we'll be business planning once we go through the pro forma, then securing a site, getting initial staff, and opening a store. When? I don't know. Depends on us. Depends on how hard we all work to bring new people into this group. So I think that might be it. Oops. I think that is it. Oh, yes, become an owner. So if you have not become an owner yet, there is no pressure for you to become an owner. This is not a selling point for you necessarily, or a selling event. But we do want to encourage you to ask questions, which there will be time for. There are owner agreements here that you can take home. There's also flyers that you can take home to share with other people. So I encourage you to do that.